Good morning. It's about 9:45 on Wednesday, and weird morning. I was sitting having breakfast with the kids. We were having a relaxed morning. Everything was going great. It was like a couple minutes before I was going to tell them to get their shoes and coats on, and we were finishing up breakfast, and that's when it hit me that I hadn't made their lunches. Just complete and total brain fart. Time to walk out the door, and I realized I hadn't made their lunches. So it's never happened before. But, yeah, thank goodness for all the packaged snacks that I have around here. I was just able to throw a bunch of packaged stuff in their lunches and get them out the door. But, yeah, weird story in the news this morning. There's this woman in Maryland who's being charged with starving her 1-year-old son to death. Very sad, horrible. But prosecutors really aren't after her. They're after the cult that they say brainwashed her into starving her child. And the cult decided that the child was evil because he wouldn't say amen after eating. Oh, keep in mind, 1-year-old kid, okay? But that's not the weird part. The weird part is that as part of her plea deal for testifying against the rest of the cult members, she has a resurrection clause. Resurrection clause. Clause says that if her son is resurrected, then all charges are dropped, everybody goes home, everything's fine, all is forgiven. And it can't be like some kind of, perceived reincarnation, as somebody else or as a butterfly or anything. It has to be the actual child that she starved to death. So, yeah. Resurrection clause. I wouldn't hold my breath. I can't believe that she was deemed fit to stand trial. Anyway. Another story in the news today. I don't know, it's a big deal everywhere, but here in New York, the smoking tax. The cost of a pack of cigarettes is now like $10 a pack, which seems rather insane. I'm not a smoker. I'm against smoking, and it's the position of smokers and this tax, it's I can argue both sides as, it's kind of an intellectual exercise without my own feelings coming into it. I can argue that it's just unfair to tax smokers. They're an easy target. And the rationale is that they're costing taxpayers more money because of their health care. But, it may turn out that I am too because I don't exercise or, because of the amount of cheese that I eat. What about alcoholics? What about anybody who does anything unhealthy? It's hard to rationalize it, legally. But morally, I'm all for it. Anything that makes people smoke less, go nuts. If you can't afford the $10 pack of cigarettes, chances are you're not paying for your own health care, and chances are the public is paying for your health care. So good if you can't afford it, can't smoke. But people are going crazy. And the thing is, it's unfortunately it's the one big problem with my marijuana legalization idea. Everybody always says, oh, just legalize marijuana and tax the shit out of it, and the government will make money, and there won't be any more drug trade problems and violence and gangs and all this. But that's not true. Cigarettes are a good example. Cigarettes are perfectly legal, but there's a huge black market in New York, probably everywhere, for untaxed cigarettes, because they cost so much less. So, that's probably what would happen with pot. I'm not saying that's a reason not to legalize it. I'm just saying that, that idea that legalizing it and taxing it would benefit everybody and get rid of the violence problem and the illegal drug trade problem, I don't think that's true. The black market would still be there because black market pot would probably be cheaper because it would probably be taxed very, very high like cigarettes. So, yeah. Oh well. But, yeah, I guess that's it. Have to get moving. Going to a Kodak event today. This is a danger area for me because I'm trying to lose weight and live on about 1,200 calories a day, which on a normal day, honestly, is not that hard. It's really not. I can get to dinner time on under 500 calories with no problem. I generally have a lot of willpower and motivation in the first part of the day, and then if I still have 700 calories left to spend on dinner, that's like pigging out, you know, in comparison. So, you know, on a normal day, that's fine. But when I go to these events, which happen, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, I'm generally fed. It's generally really good food, and I generally want to just stuff my face with it. But, you know, can't do that. And it's hard for 2 reasons. It's hard, number one, because free food just tastes better. It just does. Free food tastes better than food that I've paid for. Just like buffet food that I've paid one price for tastes better than food that I have to order a la carte. So it's bad for that reason. But it's also bad because I can't count calories easily, you know. I suck at estimating food that I haven't cooked myself, you know. So it's bad. And I could just not eat it, you know. I mean, there are times when I'm going to something where it's a big event and, you know, lots of people eating, and it wouldn't look weird if I weren't eating. But not many of us were invited to this to the lunch part beforehand, so it would be obvious. And I want to go to the lunch part. You know, it's part of the networking part of this. But yeah, so I can only hope that the food sucks and that there's nothing there that I like, which is kind of a mean thought to have for everybody else. But. All right, better get going. Other things to do today, and can't do them without a shower. So have a great day.